ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरोन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यो मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरोन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिते नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणी निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणी वंशाकल्पातरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरतिसे नमः। पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्ण भक्तरूपा स्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताक्षं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम्। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण। Hare Krishna. So it has been our fortune that we have been meeting regularly and have been discussing Krishna Kathāmṛtam, the nectarian pastimes, qualities of Lord Krishna and his dear devotees. So we have been discussing Garvastuti for the last couple of weeks, and Krishna willing, we'll be able to conclude this section today. And like from next weekend onwards, next Thursday onwards, we'll move to the third chapter, which really talks about the birth of Lord Krishna, appearance of Lord Krishna. So we'll move to that next chapter, third chapter of 10th canto from next week onwards. So what we have discussed so far? So we discussed that how it is very difficult to understand Lord. That's what we discussed in the verse number, I would say, is that 35? Right? Yes. Right. It's very difficult to understand the Lord. And he can be understood only when we have the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And once we get that mercy, it reflects within us, or we are being soured with the seed of devotion. And how is that devotion is really applied? And that is really mentioned in verse number 36, 37. see very beautifully in the verse 36 and 37. Let me share my screen. Right, 36 and 36. In Devatas, they talk about how devotee performs devotion. Nanama rupe gunajanma karma bhi nirupitapye tavatasya sakshina manobachabhyam manumaya vartmano devo kriyayam pratiyanti yathapihi. So here, Devatas are saying, oh Lord, your Nama and Rupa, Guna, Janma, Karma, bhi, Nirupitabhye, are not able to ascend. By just Mano Bachobhyam Anumeya, through our mind, through our words, through some hypothesis, through some speculation, we cannot understand. Deva Kriyayam Pratiyanti Athapihi. So you will be able, you are realized only through the process of bhakti. We discussed that how Prabhupada quotes from Padma Purana, this beautiful verse that we always quote. Atas Sri Krishna Namadi Namati Nabhavet Grahyam Indre Sevan Mukhehi Jivado Swayam. We cannot understand the Nama Rupa Guna Lila of the Lord as long as we are bound by our material senses. But then once we start performing the seva through our jiva, sevan mukhe hi jivado, and then Lord will reveal automatically. So we cannot demand the Lord, but we can beg for the mercy of the Lord while performing our duties, our seva through the jiva. Jiva means chanting of the holy name, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare, and honoring prasadam of the Supreme Lord. And Prabhupada quotes here again and again that how through this we can really perform bhakti. Only with bhakti we can understand the Lord, and not through any other mental speculations. Unless our eyes are anointed with the love, Premanjana Charita Bhakti Vilochanena Santa Sadeva Hrudaye Suvilakante. Now, once our eyes are anointed with the love, at this point of time, our eyes are anointed with blue glass, brown glass, various levels of covering, and that we are not able to see as it is. But then once the coloring tints of the specks removed, or we call as the cloud is removed, we can really see the object as it is. But Santa Sadeva, the pure devotees of the Lord, they can really see the Lord within their heart. They really have darshan. Prabhupada and all our acharyas, at this point of time, because in the sadhaka stage, we are conditioned stage, we cannot see Krishna and we cannot demand Krishna. So what they are saying, you should serve Krishna in such a way that Krishna will be pleased, and he will be happy to appear in front of us through various ways, and he will reciprocate with us, and then we can really understand Lord's reciprocation. Lord is reciprocating, and in some way or other, but we are not able to perceive that. But with the mercy, once that covering is cleared, we can really understand the Lord. We can really see the beautiful form of the Lord. Venum Konantam Aravinda Dalayataksam Varhavatam Samasitam Pura Sundarangam Kandarpa Koti Kamani Abhishesha Sobham Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajam. And then we'll be able to understand how the Lord is Giridhari. He's holding this Giri, Govardhan. And like Prabhupada is saying that, the non-devotees, they cannot understand the inconceivable strength of the Lord. We cannot lift a rock, forget about a big mountain. And because we are not able to do it, we also say that, oh, how can somebody else do it? No, it's not possible. That's just like a child in the womb, cannot see the light outside. And at that time, we cannot see that, oh, there is no light, oh, there is no mother, there is no father, there is no humanity. Right? But yes, as we really we come out of the womb of the mother, now we see. Yes. While in the movie, the child might say, oh, mother doesn't exist. Similarly, in the darkness, people say that, oh, Lord does not exist. Oh, all it comes from chemicals. Right? That's a, we are really, attaching our properties, to the Lord, because we are this anu. And people call it the Fixius mythology, and all that stuff. So Prabhupada is saying this is the difference between a devotee and non-devotee. Non-devotee, cannot know what is the qualities of the Lord, doesn't know that how Lord has been given different names, like Samasundar, Giridhari, Yashodanandan, Devaki Nandan. He's known as Gopal. He's known as he's known with so many, thousands of names, and the devotees relish by chanting all these names. And these are not mundane names. So yes, at this point of time, we are not able to realize the sweetness of the holy name because of the jaundice. And then yes, once we take that medicine regularly, it's a matter of time we realize it. And what is that medicine? This medicine is Sravanam Kirtanam Gunasmaranam. Srunvan Grunan Smam Smarayam Chachintayan Namani Rupani Chamangalani Te Kriyasi Yastva Charanara Vindayo Avishta Chitana Bhavaya Kalpate. This is a very, very beautiful verse. Very, very important verse. How a devotee Avishta Chetana Bhavaya Kalpate. So once you do this, hearing, chanting, and remembering, and contemplating what? Namani Rupani Chamangalani. The name, form, and the qualities of the Supreme Lord. Kriyasu, yes, even if we are in this material world doing all our activities, but then our mind, Avishta Cheta, our mind is focused on Twach Charanara Vindaya, and our mind is completely focused on the lotus feet of the Lord. Then Nabhavaya Kalpade, then we don't perceive, this Bhava Vedana, we don't perceive the misery of the world, we are already, in that liberated condition. Right? We discussed also this verse, right? Iha seva haridase karmana manasagira nekhilas of epostasu jivan mukta sevachate, from Rupa Goswami. That how he is saying that, like, even in this material body, like while staying in this material world, if we perform our activities, with karmana manasagira, with the body, mind, and words, right? We are already in the liberated state, So that's the difference, right? Between, we always discuss the difference between Arjuna and Duryodhana. They are doing the same thing, but then Duryodhana was doing for his sense gratification, how I get really more pleasure, how I get more upadhi, and so on. But Arjuna, he has realized that, yes, I am, after hearing from Bhagavad Gita, then he said, what he said, Kari se vachanam tava, oh Lord, I'll do, whatever you say, I'll do for your pleasure, because I know that I am your servant. So if a devotee is asked, who are you? He'll say, I am a devotee of the Lord. Then he will say, okay, what are you doing? I'm doing God's work. Okay, what are you doing? I'm doing God's work. And okay, but what is the fruit you are getting? Whatever, the result that will come out, I will offer it to the Lord, and I will accept for my maintenance, whatever is required. And then once you do this, once you perform our activity as servant of Krishna, once we do God's work, and then we do it as a matter of detachment. So then our activity becomes what it becomes? It becomes sanctified, and also the activities that we do, that is sanctioned. Once our activities are sanctioned and sanctified, what is even sanctioned? Because we don't do any other nonsense activities, right? Which is like the professions which are really aligned to meat eating, gambling, or intoxication, and all that. Right? So we are not doing anything which is really harming any other living entities, which we might have to, do gross, things like against the mercifulness, truthfulness, cleanliness, and austerity of our body, right? At least as much as possible, right? And then, right, whatever we get it, we offer it to the Lord, and then our work becomes, our activities become sanctioned and also sanctified or purified. And then, while living in this world, what as a housewife or as a student or as a employee or whatever, the activities that we might be doing, we are in the liberated state, and at that point of time, he or she does not feel the miseries of the material world. That's why Lord saying that yes, tasmat sarvesu kalesu mam anusmara yuddhacha. That's what in Bhagavad Gita says, Lord. Always think of me and do your duty. And do your fighting with all the external forces that is really bombarding you. Or in 3.30 is Mai Sarvani Karmani Sannyasa Adhyatma Chetasa Nirasya Nirmama Bhattva Yuddhasya Vigata Jara. At no point of time you should be lazy. You should not be lazy. Yes, especially devotee means they do more work. So it's not that devotee means they really chill. No, like yes, when the outside people, if they are working for 16 hours and maybe devotee works for 18 hours. But they work 16 hours for their own pleasure, for their own sense gratification. But devotee works, right, whatever it is, for the Lord's pleasure. So yes, devotion life is, it's yes, it's a sanctified life, it's a purified life, because whatever we do, it's for the Lord's pleasure. And then next verse number 38. Now we'll discuss what is being mentioned. Distya hareyasya bhavato pado bhuvo bharopanita stava janmani suto distyankitam tvad padakeshu sobhane drakshama gambyam tavanu kampitam. There are so many verses. Distya, draksha. What is the meaning of this? Anybody would like to read the translation?
Yes, Prabhuji. Oh Lord, we are fortunate because the heavy burden of the demon upon this earth is immediately removed by your appearance. Indeed, we are certainly fortunate, for we shall be able to see upon this earth and in the heavenly planets the mark of lotus, council, club, and disc that adorn your lotus feet.
So here, what are the Devatas saying? Devatas are saying that how by your appearance this time, what is being done? The burden of earth is removed. Like yes, Mother Earth had approached Lord Vishnu on the bank of Kirasagara, and that, oh Lord, I'm really burdened with this military phalanxes, created by this atheist, sinful, commanders. And now, as soon as Lord has appeared, the burden has removed. Just a matter of time, they will be annihilated. But then, what is benefit for us? It's not only they will be removed, but here Devatas are saying that we are fortunate, and Mother Earth also feeling very fortunate, because Now she will be imbued with the footprint of your Lord. As we have been discussing, right? How devatas are so much attached to the lotus, feet of the Lord. Again and again, right? Their mind is going to the lotus feet, right? Here, once again, what they are really looking forward to see the lotus footprint of the Lord that will be there on the earth. And they are going into the detail. What will be there in the lotus footprint? There will be the marks of Sankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma. It is mentioned very much in detail, in our scriptures. How the lotus feet is really marked with so many, marks. Like it is mentioned that there are like around 19, marks are there. Like on the left and right foot together. Like for Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma, they are the prominent ones. But then there is like half moon is there, the Kalasa is there, Trikona, like the triangle, then it's a Dhanus, bow is there, come sky, go spada, there is a like fish, there is a Sankha, then the Konastakam, 8-pointed star, Swastikam, and the chakra, umbrella, and then there is a baby corn, right? Like barley corn, like Java, right? Like this Ankusha, that elephant gourd, and then the Dhwaja, and then thunderbolt, and this Jamu fruit, and Udra Rekha, the lotus, right? Like and each of the marks, there is a significance to it. Like we have discussed already about the lotus, right? How Lord's feet is really compared to the lotus, right? Like there are so many meanings to it, right? But our acharyas really talk about that, how this lotus, right? It comes out of water, it grows out of water. Similarly, when our eyes, are imbued with the tears of love, and then the Lord will appear in our heart. So that's why you always say, like especially Guru Govind Maharaj says, cry for Krishna, cry for Krishna, cry for Krishna. Unless we cry for Krishna, the Lord will not appear in our heart. It's not just a sentimental crying, or it's not that we have to make our heart, because our heart is really hard, just like rock at this point of time. So it has to feel that emotion of that longing, that hankering, that yearning, for the love of Lord Krishna. Once we have that desire, strong desire, and then that tears of love, should come from the eyes. Unless our eyes are moistened with the love of the tears, Lord will not appear. That's one meaning. The another meaning is that we always remember that how Mother Lakshmi is really massaging the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, and then the devotees, really aspires that how Mother Lakshmi is really doing that, wonderful, glorious service, right? And when can we get an opportunity to serve, the lotus, or like are we really begging for the mercy of Mother Lakshmi so that she can shower, like glance, so that we can really get an opportunity. There is a nice pastime you might have heard. Like you heard about this Ramayan pastime, when like Ram and Lakshman, they would be accompanying Vishwamitra, and they would be they would be on their way to Mithila, and on the way they would found a hut. It's a very dilapidated hut, and Vishwamitra takes Ram and Lakshman inside, and then Vishwamitra asks Lord Ram, please touch that rock with your lotus feet. And then as soon as the lotus feet of Lord Ram touches that rock, what comes out? A beautiful lady. Who is that? Ahalya. Because she was cursed by the Rishi, because somehow she was found in a wrong moment, and she was found that she was breaking the chastity, unknowingly. And but anyway, like by the just a speck of the dust of the lotus feet of the Lord Ram, the rock got transformed into that beautiful lady. And that news got really spreaded like fire, that with the dust of Lord Ram, a rock also transformed into a beautiful lady. And then we hear that other pastime, how that Ram, Lakshman, Sita, they wanted to, cross that river Sarayu, and the cavort would be there, and he had heard that. Yes, with the dust of Lord's lotus feet, a rock got transformed into a beautiful lady. And now, if that rock falls into my boat, my only boat that is a source of my maintenance will get transformed to wife. And how will I really take care of two wives? I have already one wife. I'm not able to maintain. And how can I really take care of the other one? And she would have made the trick, that, oh Lord, I can really take you across this river only in one condition. And I'll ensure that all the dust of your lotus feet are really removed, right? And then I will take care. And how you do that? I'll just wash your lotus feet very nicely. And then Lord Ram said, okay, so be it. And then that was when like the boatman, he really brought the water and started washing Lord's lotus feet, in a very delicate way, very nicely. And then in the meantime, he's also looking towards Mother Sita. Why he is looking towards Mother Sita? There is one more pastime. So one time, what happened? Like Mother Lakshmi always, massaging the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu in that Kshirasagar, lying on the bed of Ananta Sesa. And once what happened, there was a tortoise, a turtle, right? Like, he wanted to, he saw that, like, how beautiful is Lord's lotus feet, and and the thumb, and he wanted to also, like, get a glimpse of the mercy that is really there, on the Lord's lotus feet. Why Mother Lakshmi is only, getting so much mercy, can I not get also a little bit of mercy? He was trying, and as soon as Mother Lakshmi would see that, so, go, 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 go. You're not eligible to receive the mercy from the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. And he would be trying, but the devotion of any living entity, like he would be so absorbed, so sincere, and then in the next birth he would appear as that boatman, and now he is watching Mother Lakshmi, Mother Sita. Last birth, when I was just a tortoise, I could not get, but you see now, now you cannot do anything. I am now releasing the lotus feet of the Lord, like as much as I can, so this is the mood of devotee, right? He wants to be attached, to get as much nectar as possible from the lotus feet of the Lord. So yes, we are talking about the how the feet is really compared, to a lotus. And also another meaning of the lotus also is that how that we discussed some time back as well, that lotus blooms during the daytime, not in the night time. And when our eyes, our heart is awakened to that light, then we can really see the lotus and and the Supreme Lord. As long as we are covered with the darkness or ignorance, we cannot see the Supreme Lord. So we should pray that how our heart becomes enlightened. And and there are so many other meanings to it as well. Or maybe one more tell, and then we can just move on to the next one. So our Acharya is also saying that just like a bee goes to various flowers, like Mali, Champa, and all that, right? But then there is one flower, I really goes a Ketiki flower you have seen. Like it comes with a lot of thorns, just like rose, but rose is like one flower, but then Ketiki is really long petals, with lot of thorns. And like this bee really was really going around that ketiki flower and being turned by the thorns of that ketiki flower. It was really in a pitiful condition. But then finally, that bee coming to the lotus flower, and then really getting that nectar. Similarly, our Acharya is saying that for millions of lifetimes, we are tormented with the various miseries, and like that ketiki flower, and just trying to get a little bit of nectar. We get that's called not nectar, but that's a kind of a little bit of so-called honey, trying to get it, but then we are really get caught up, uh, get turned away, with so much miseries. But then finally we come to the lotus feet of the Lord, and then how much we should be grateful to that, and then we should really forget, those thornful flowers of that jnana, vairagya, karma, and so on. It should be only attached to the lotus feet of the Lord. Okay. So then, Devatar Singh was talk about chakra and sankha and gada. Talk about sankha. What is the significance of sankha and the lotus, feet of the Lord? Sankha represents, that as a victory. Victory, like usually before Arati or before the war, like we hear in Bhagavad Gita as well. Or even after the war is over, the conch is blown, like just to declare the victory that yes, Parama Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtana. There is always victory of Lord's holy name, or Lord's power. This proclaims the ultimate victory. So similarly, wherever Lord is there, really brings that victory against all the material odds that we come across. So once you take shelter of the Lord, lotus feet, a devotee becomes fearless, abhaya. Bhajahure mana Srinanda Nandana abhaya charanara vindare. So once you take shelter of the abhaya charanara vinda, charanara vinda, will take the lotus feet of the Lord, then a devotee becomes abhaya. He becomes fearless. And and then we can move on. We're talking about chakra. A chakra, once again, right? It cuts all the enemies' heads. Similarly, it is mentioned that how this chakra in the lotus feet of the Lord, once we meditate, what happens? It helps in really annihilating all the sad ripu. We have heard of Loba Mohammed Matsarya, Kamakrodha Loba Mohammed Matsarya, all the lost anger, greed, pride, illusion, envy, all that really get annihilated, as once we meditate on the lotus feet of the Lord. So it is called Sankha, it is called Chakra, and then Padma, and then Gada. Gada also represents once again, right, how like we heard of this Bajra or Gada, they really remove all the um, all the bad elements within our heart. So yes, there are also like this moon, just like moon also is there. It also represents how Lord Shiva holds that moon as a representing that lotus feet of the Lord, and he is glorified. Similarly, a devotee, one who is really meditating on the lotus feet of the Lord, that we hear that Koti Chandra Susitala, Nitai Pada Kamal. Once you remember the lotus feet of the Lord, our heart becomes currently tormented with so much of heat, so much of anxiety. It becomes cooled down with the lotus feet of the Lord, with the presence of moon as the lotus feet. And yeah, there are so many deeper meanings to it. But moving on, what we are saying here, that how devatas are becoming so happy on meditating on the different marks of the lotus feet of the Lord, the Sankha Chakra Gada Padma. And Prabhupada talks about that beautiful pastime, how Akrura went from Mathura to Vrindavan on the order of Kamsa. As soon as he reached on the boundaries of Vrindavan, he saw the footprints of Lord Krishna, and he became to groan, he became to ecstatic, right? Yes, because of your mercy, O Lord, I am able to now get this beautiful darshan. And that Prabhupada, talking about the gopis as well. How gopis also remembering that how Lord is really following the cows, and then and all the footprints are there, and just seeing the footprint of the Lord, all the gopis, their heart would really get melt, that they would really remember how Lord is so merciful, how Lord is so sweet, how Lord is so loving, just seeing the lotus footprint of the Lord. Avishta Cheta Kalpate, Avishta Cheta Nabhavaya Kalpate. Gopis are always absorbed in that ecstasy. They were not in the material platform. That's why we hear that people talk about gopi so cheaply. But then in the beginning of our Kathāmṛtam session, we discussed that Ramya Kachidopasana Prajavadhu Vargena Yakalpita. They are the highest examples of the love of Godhead. Because they would always like to hear, Prabhupada talks about here, why they are the highest examples. Like the gopis, once who is always absorbed in the thought of the Lord, beyond the material platform, will not remain in this material. So it is our duty, therefore, always to hear, chant, and think about Lord's lotus feet, as actually done by the Vaishnavas who have decided to live in Vrindavan, and always think of Lord's lotus feet 24/7. So if we are doing this hearing, chanting, and thinking or remembering the Lord's lotus feet, we are in Vrindavan. And that is the sum and substance of this verse, and the sum and substance, right, of this one. So if you want to make Vrindavan our home, what do you have to do? We have to always, as much as possible, proposing 24 hours a day. So at least we can start with whenever we are chanting, maybe for 2 hours, or when you are reading Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita, or when doing deity worship, at least during that time, we'll be completely absorbed, right, and hearing, chanting, remembering. And then once you do that, during a sadhana kala or japa kala, and then we'll be able to do sadakal, the 24 hours a day. This very, very important verse. And then continuing, Nate abhavasya bhavasya karanam bina vinodam vatatarkyamahe bhavo nirodho stitirapi avidyaya krita tatastvaya bhayasrayatmani. They are saying, O Supreme Lord, you are not an ordinary living entity appearing in this material as a result of fruitive activities. Therefore, your appearance or birth in this world is no other case than your pleasure potency. Similarly, the living entities who are part of you have no cause for miseries like birth, death, and old age, except when these living entities are conducted by external energy. So here, once again, we can really remind ourselves that the appearance of the Lord are not because of the karma, because we appear because of our karma, because of our desires. But Lord is not bound to appear. Lord is not obliged to appear in a certain place, or with a certain mother or father. It is because of his pleasure. Very clearly, Devatas are saying that, because of Vinoda, because of your pleasure, because you want to enjoy, you want to really give enjoyment to your devotees. That's why you are appearing. You are not bound by the karma. Like sometimes say that, oh no, because of this or that, Lord appeared. No, there is no other cause. Apart from, it's just, he want to enjoy and he want to give enjoyment to his devotees. We should be very clear on that. He is not an ordinary living entity. Devatas are really calling out very clearly. Yes, like ordinary, living entities. When during the birth, that's called labor pain. They would not call labor pleasure. Any mothers, they call as a labor pleasure? No, like because during that, birth, this during this labor pain, what happens? Both mother and child crying. Any point of time, any birth has happened without any pain, and even if the child doesn't cry, they will be given a slap. Please cry, so that we know that all of your bodily movements, bodily senses are working. So yes, it's a painful process. But for Lord, you see how Mother Devaki, he's so effulgent. He, we'll see in the next chapter as well. She's so blissful. Lord is so blissful. We'll hear in the next chapter how he appears in that Chaturbhuja form. Everything, Sankha Chakra Gada Padma, and with the Kiriti, with all this Kosto and all, appearing. Not like us, we're just coming with some lump of, muscle and, blood and mucus and so on. And then Lord, he's appearing, right, only for his pleasure. That's what we should very clearly remember this. Okay. But all of us, right, we enjoy, we come here because Krishna bahir mukhoya bhagavan chakare nikatastha maya tare chapadiya dhare. Because we are covered, we wanted to enjoy separate from the Lord, and that's why we are appearing here. We call that as a hospital or as a jail. But in that same jail, sometimes the president comes. Not that president is also right, has done some mistake, but he wants to come for some like festival like 15th of August, Independence Day, or he wants to donate something to somebody, or he want to remind all the people that please get away from all your nonsense activities and come out of the jail, to remind the people. Similarly, Lord also comes to the jail, or even a hospital we talk about, right? We always give these two examples very often. This material world, the jail and the hospital. And the hospital also, like there are patients are there, but the doctors are also there, who are free from diseases. They go, to treat the patient. Similarly, the Lord and his devotees, they come here, to treat the patient, to remind the patient that yes, please take it and come back to. Anichi asadhi maya nasi varalagi harinama maha mantra. Lao tumi magi. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, you see that how he's telling everybody, no, please, Jeev Jago, Gora Chanda. Mahaprabhu is saying, please wake up, Ho jiva boliya aise samsara vitare. I thought that you say that you will come and do the bhajan, but you are just ruining your life. Now I brought this medicine. Please take this medicine and come quickly. Okay, so like here again and again, Prabhupada is saying it's only for his pleasure that he comes, although he does not need to come, although he is not obliged to come. Okay, so let's move further. So here in this verse, they are saying that, oh Supreme Controller, your Lord, so previously accepted incarnations, as fish, as a horse, as a tortoise, Narsimhadev, boar, swan, Lord Ramchandra, Parshuram, and among the demigods, Bhamanadev, to protect the entire world by your mercy. Now please protect us by your mercy by diminishing the entire diminishing the disturbance on this world. Oh Krishna, waste of the we respectfully offer our obeisance to you. Once again here, we know that how Lord appears in various avatars, just like there are asankhya avatars, just like the waves in the ocean. They are asankhya. Similarly, the avatars of the Lords are there asankhya. There are something called lila avatars, guna avatars, purusa avatars, saktya-vesa avatars, and there are yuga avatars. There are different incarnations of the Lord. They appear at different place of time or right, based on the need. Of course, once again, it is based on whatever to be done, and also to give pleasure to his devotees. And they all appear. And then, what is the next verse? In the 41, they are now glorifying Mother Devaki. Oh, Mother Devaki, by your good fortune and ours, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself, with all His plenary persons, such as Baladev, is now within your home. Therefore, you need not fear Kamsa, who has decided to be killed by the Lord. And your eternal son Krishna will be the protector of the entire Yadu dynasty. So Devatas, they prayed to Lord Krishna. At the same time, they wanted to glorify Devaki. They wanted to give the assurance to Devaki. Yes, the time has come that Lord has appeared in your womb. And saying that, all the Devatas, they left. As offering prayers to the Supreme Lord, right? All the Devatas led by Brahma and Shiva, they left to their planet. So yes, Prabhupada is saying, Adhyapiha Chaitanya Aisava Lila Kare Jara Bhagya Tha Kaise Dekhaye Nirantara. That yes, the incarnations of Supreme Personality of Godhead appear continuously like the waves of river or ocean. There is no limit to the Lord's incarnations, but they can be perceived only by devotees who are fortunate. The Devatas, the demigods, fortunately understood the incarnations of the Personality of Godhead, and thus they offered their prayers. The Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma led the demigods in returning to their homes. Okay. So I thought that I will just try to summarize it for all of your pleasure. So whatever we discussed, you can see the screen. That how we started this Garvastuti, with that beautiful prayer called Satyavrtam Satya Param Tri Satyam. How Lord is the only truth in this world. That's the verse number 26. And then we talked about, you remember that material body, that is compared the two fruits, happiness, distress, the three roots, like three modes, and different senses, right? And like 7 layers of that bark and so on, and then, right, 8 branches of the tree, and then Nabadwaras, right, and the 10 ears, right, and then there are 2 birds, like all this, all the numbers are really being covered there, right? And then how Lord is the cause of everything, how Lord is the creator, maintainer, and destroyer. He's the cause of everything. And the Lord, he appearing, for the benefit of all, for the auspiciousness of devotees. And yes, he appears to vanquish the demons. And then when Lord appears, what he does, he protects. And how he protects, right? He protects, just like, and he really, Lord, helps the devotees in crossing over this ocean. And this ocean, right? Like we call it Bhavasagara, Bhavasindhu. And there Lord has given this boat. And this boat is nothing but we discussed very much in detail in that verse number 30, right? That how Prabhupada talks about that how our acharyas, they have given this rules and regulations, and especially chanting of the holy name, minimum 16 hours a day. Once we follow it, we can take shelter of it, and we can really also cross over. And these acharyas, they have given, the books, they have given these rules and regulations and processes through which we can cross over. And then, right, we talked about, yes, there are also these jnanis and yogis, and they also work hard, to try to cross over. But because they don't have that attachment to the lotus feet of the Lord, they fall down. But then the devotees of the Lord, yes, it may happen that, a bhakta also might fall down, but he will not fall away, right? It is just a matter of time, he will come back, with the greater enthusiasm. We talked about the pastime of Bharat Maharaj, or that Gajendra, right, or Chitraketu Maharaj and Vritrasura. We discussed that in detail, right? How, right, in even a demoniac body also, what kind of devotion he had for the Lord. And then we talk about how Lord comes to teach the principles of bhakti, and how he's always spiritual, right? And how, just now we revising today also, right? How Lord cannot be understood by the mental speculation, only through His mercy. Atha Sri Krishna Namadi, and then, and what we should do once we get that mercy of the Lord to understand, then we perform the devotion by Avishta Chaitanya Bhavaya Kalpate, by doing this Srunuan Grunuan, by hearing, chanting, and contemplating the lotus feet of the Lord. And then we discussed that how by your appearance, the burden of earth is removed. And then, yes, Devata are saying they are fortunate to see your footprints in the earth. And then it's saying that, yes, you appear by your own will and for your own pleasure. It's not just because of karma or because of some reason that you appear in this material world. And then, yes, you appeared again and again in so many forms with the only desire to protect us. And saying that, at the end, they glorified Devaki, and after glorifying Devaki, they left it. Right? So, like, just try to even put it a little bit more structure into it so that you can follow it. This is a very nice structure on devotee. He has put it, referring our Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur and so many acharyas commentary, right? He has put into different blocks, right? Like, especially this verse number 26 to 41 or 42, right? Like, how they are structured first. The Devatas are glorifying how Lord is the cause of all causes, and then they talk about that how Lord gives the protection to his devotees, and then how like who can receive that protection? Jnanis and the yogis, they can't access, but the devotees can access it. And what inspires devotion, right? For the devotees, how they do the devotion. Lord comes to teach that Vedic principles, so, right? And then really, especially this, we discuss 35, 36, 37, right? Like, it really talks about the process of bhakti, hearing, chanting, and remembering the lotus feet of the Lord. So Devatas are very clearly calling out, that how the bhaktas, by doing bhakti, can really attain Bhagavan. And then the last section we discussed today, 38 to 40, where Devatas are saying that you appear to remove the burden, and you appear for your own pleasure. And we are so fortunate to see the footprints, which is really covered with the Sankha Chakra Gada Padma, and you appear in so many forms, right? To take care of the devotees or to annihilate the demons and so on. And then they are glorifying Devaki. So Devaki, you are so fortunate. Hare Krishna. That's how we really summarized. So thank you very much for being with us. And while we going through the prayers, these prayers are so deep, because that's really coming out, from their heart and glorifying the Lord, glorifying Bhagavan and bhaktas and bhakti. So, Hare Krishna. Any questions, comments? So next week onwards, as we said, we'll focus on the appearance of Lord Krishna. We'll start third chapter of the 10th canto, where Lord is going to appear. What will be the weather, what will be the conditions all around, and in which form Lord will appear, and how he really bring that pleasure to his devotees. So we'll discuss all that from the Krishna willing next week onwards. Any questions, comments, reflections?